I have the penis deceased. The penis genital is deceased. It's spelled P-E-N-I-S, which is where the word penis comes from, but it's penis. And I spell it in this world P-E-N-N-I-S, like tennis, when I'm talking about my penis genital deceased. Genitals on myself are deceased. I will never have genitals again for a world that hates myself. It will never help in the future. I made my point. When I had genitals on myself, I showed how I had to try in this God form. I had to make effort or try to know the God who is creating myself, to be understanding of what was going on around me, what was my motion in life, with the body, with myself moving itself, within the motion of alive of the body, which is also within the motion of alive of the whole world. I don't know anyone else who put as much into a lifetime as I did. And I still see that you are monitoring myself to make sure that I don't have what I need, because you think that I should believe that way, that that's what I am to the God above myself. And that is really far in the wrong for the amount of time that I've been alive. And it's true that you don't understand by moving myself around. You don't know how to withdraw your objections to myself. And it's more than that. You owe yourselves in prison. You owe me everything I need for myself. You owe me everything you don't need for yourself before you go into prison. You can lock it up empty, sure, but it's not yours once I've been in there. It's mine. You can't just lock me out because you're going to keep the key, because you are yourself monitoring that I'm not in there. You don't know who I am. I know who I am, and you're trying to make it that you have a positive identification of myself. You are all like Dog the Bounty Hunter. You need a can of mace if you're going to identify somebody who's not yourself, and it's due that you spray your own self in the eyes with your own can of mace before you lock me out of a house. Joellen Myroff, Abby Schoenfeld, Wendy Rauscher, Robin Gilson, Noah Ricken, Hahnss Moser, Donna Moser. Because they're not Mosers that way. You don't have a last name. All the last names are disqualified. The first name's just to identify roughly who you are. This is how I identify you. Does anybody on the internet know who these people are? Yeah, but they think they're of the utmost importance in their God. They and their God did something like that to me. Debbie Singer, I'm sorry I accidentally locked you out of my house. I was locked out myself shortly after that. God knows how that went down. I'm sorry that Debbie Singer couldn't help me stay in my house, and she could be a friend to visit me in my house again would be very nice. But she's not supposed to be somebody who's threatening me that she's not going to leave. It's not leave, it's that you have your own house. And then, of course, she's due in prison. And if I was going to say to Debbie, what do you go to prison for? It would be something to do with her last name, Singer. Singer, sewing machine, Singer, somebody on the radio. If she understands her last name, Singer, and maybe what's wrong with the singers on the radio, on the internet, on TV, she could go to prison for that. And we could still be friends that way until the end. And she goes to prison and then it's deceased. Who dong lust? Dong genital is if you're not myself and you have a dong genital. I have the genital, but it doesn't have a name on myself. If it's not on myself and it's a genital that comes from that genital, it's a dong. And I don't have the genital on myself of a dong anymore. For me, it would be called myself deceased. I don't have a name for the genital. It's genitals on myself. Unfortunately, this God form is in public, so the name of the genitals I have are female. I have breasts like a female. I have a clitoris like a female. I have a vaginal canal like a female, and that's named because I'm in public. Otherwise, it's not supposed to because I had my house. I was supposed to have genitals in my house in my order that you don't really see them and name my genitals. But unfortunately, I've been murdered so hard, I don't even have any shame saying that on the internet because you're so far in the wrong that you need God and genitals, and you did what you did to me was hysterically all swears. I'll never have genitals on myself again. For that, you didn't withdraw your objection so hard that I'm deceased and threatening, and you're not deceased and threatening myself. I have not seen you withdraw your objections, not even once, and that means you continue to object to what you see and hear. And that means it was never really me, it was always you. Why am I the one who's going without what I need when you're the one who's objecting? Why don't your objections land you in prison? You all don't get along, but you separate amicably. That is not really true that it's amicable in America.